Welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host, Kurt Weigel. Today's episode, Spirit of the Century, the role-playing game. Folks, this is very interesting because it uses the Fate engine. Now, Fate is really, I don't want to call it cutting edge because it's been around for a very long time, but it really revolutionized a lot of ideas on how role-playing was done. Somebody once called it indie before indie was cool, and I kind of have to agree with them on that because this does away with a lot of the standard things you think of when you think of a role-playing game. I'll get to the engine in a few minutes. I want to talk about the setting first. The setting for this is a pulp-era game in the 20s. It specifically puts itself in the 20s, although you could pretty easily expand it into the 30s if you really wanted to, into the more traditional pulp realm. This is kind of a kitchen sink pulp game. Instead of focusing on one specific kind of a pulp setting that is The Shadow or Indiana Jones or The Mummy or Doc Savage or one of those sorts of genres, this blends it all in together. It's rather reminiscent of White Wolf's adventure game on that respect, in that it really allows you to bring all of them together. Personally, I don't think all the pulp genres blend all that well, although if any game does it, this one does it the best. What it supposes is that there's sort of a group organization that brings everybody together. It's the Century Club, and you're a centurion, that you have all these magnificent abilities and these skills, and you go out there and you thump evil in the name of goodness. It really brings in a lot of the black and white nature of what pulp is. I like the setting. Like I said, I kind of personally prefer a bit more focused. If I wanted to play The Shadow, I'd like to play it in a group of characters like The Shadow. I don't think Indiana Jones really fits in that genre all that well. Now, for the engine itself, one of the really neat things about Fate is it does away with almost everything that you're used to seeing in a role-playing game. There are no set attributes. There are no set skills, per se. What it is it allows you define your character through a series of aspects. Those aspects could be strong like an ox, or smells like an ox if you really wanted, or it could be something like math whiz, or master chess player. And the advantage and what you want to really gear for on aspects are things that are both positive and negative. Things that can be used both ways. For example, you might take lonely college life as one of your aspects. That means that you might be really good at fading into the background, or disappearing from people's view, or just being unobtrusive and no one really notices you're there. Or it could be used against you that you might not know a lot of pop culture references, or you might not know how to blend in at a party all that well and be seen and be popular at that party. Positive and negative aspects are important because those are what allow you to use and fuel your fate points. Now, I like the use of fate points here because what it does is it allows you to use your aspects for you, either through some sort of plot device, a modification to your role, or some other positive application for you that way, or a negative in that the game master could say, all right, I'm going to use this fate point. I'm going to pay you a fate point if you can't be popular at this party like you want to right now. It's really good that way. It throws a lot of older school or traditional gamers off because, well, where's my strength? Well, where's my dexterity? Well, what do you mean I can't necessarily swing my sword? You have to define your character up front using these attributes. There is a skill list to draw from, although it's very broad. It's very flexible. For example, almost all of hand-to-hand or fisticuffs combat is labeled under fists or guns for firearms. It's sort of reminiscent of Eden Studios' shortened skill list in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel games, their cinematic Unisystem line. I think it's really neat. I've played this quite a bit lately, and it flows very well. If you're used to a traditional game, if you're used to your standard attributes or qualities and drawbacks and they're not built into the same thing, it can come back to bite you in the butt a little bit. However, a week after the first adventure or two of this, you get used to it and it works really well. This is the first of Fate 3.0 that they've put out. There is an existing free download of sort of the second edition of Fate you can get. There are some substantial differences, so you need to pay attention. This company, Evil Hat Productions, is also producing a Dresden Files role-playing game on using the same basic engine with some modifications. There's rumors that after that, they're going to just go right ahead and produce a general Fate game with all these add-ons that you can choose to go in as you want to. I recommend getting this if you like pulp or if you're after something that's a little different that allows the players to take a lot of creative control over the game. If you have any questions or comments, games you'd like to see us review or games you'd like to see reviewed, please feel free to contact us at knweagle@yahoo.com. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Weagle. Good day and good gaming.